Hi, and welcome to I Heart Cooking. I am registered dietitian Jennifer Stachler.
And I'm Chef Dugan Wetzel.
Our program is brought to you by WCTV, RP&L, and Community Benefits at Reid Health. Today on I Heart Cooking, we are talking about the many uses of avocados. So today on I Heart Cooking, we are talking about avocados, and they have a ton of different uses for them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can use them not in just the typical guacamole or Mexican kind of dishes. I mean, we're going to be using them in two dishes, but you might not always expect. We're going to be making a smoothie with avocados, and we're going to make pancakes with avocados.
Absolutely.
So a lot of breakfast items, but something that could be used also for lunch and dinner, because who doesn't like breakfast for dinner?
So yeah, first step that we're going to do, we're going to make a avocado and banana pancake. We're going to go ahead and peel our bananas here, and we're going to cut up our avocado.
Historically at home, ever since my kids are 2 and 4, they ever since they've been little, starting to eat foods. When I make pancakes, I don't make them from a box. I mean, that's just, to me, a crime, I guess, because you have all the ingredients that are in your pantry to make homemade pancakes without having to go out and purchase a box full of already the mix there. And when I started making more and more of them, I'm like, hey, I want to start including fruits into it. I want more nutrition in there for my kids. So I am historically and have done always banana pancakes. Always have done them. Just to try to get more in there. It makes a really nice pancake, gets you the flavor there, gets you the moisture in there, you're getting a fruit in there. But I will be truthful, I've not really thought about adding an avocado in there until I came across a recipe that had avocados in the pancakes. I'm like, well, that's unique. And I like avocados because they have a lot of good mono and polyunsaturated fats, help with heart disease, help with great health. So I really find this intriguing, and I'm very excited to share with everyone about this.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, we separate our ingredients, just like most baking. Wet ingredients, dry ingredients. So our first bowl here has our whole wheat flour, our AP flour, our all-purpose flour, a baking powder. It's going to have our brown sugar in there. Just going to get a spoon real quick, just to mix it up, blend all that together, and then we'll set that off to the side. Our next bowl has all of our wet ingredients. It's going to have milk, eggs, the avocado, and it's also going to have the banana. What we're going to do is once that's all together, we're going to blend it and kind of combine everything with a stick blender. You can use an at-home stick blender. You can also use a regular blender.
Regular blender, food processor, anything that kind of helps maybe making that process. The big thing you're looking for is really getting that banana and the avocado, puree it up and incorporate it into the rest of the wet ingredients.
Absolutely.
You hate to have chunks of it within your pancakes. It's not the end of the world, but that's something it just incorporates where you get a nice amount in every single biteful.
So we just added a little bit of vanilla in with those bananas. We're going to put our milk in here. We're using a low-fat skim. There's very little fat in here whatsoever.
Helps decrease those saturated fats is what we're looking at. Not only that, helps with decreasing the calories, so it can help with that weight management.
Absolutely. So we're cracking 2 eggs. Straight in there. And then the last thing that we're going to do is work with our avocado. If anybody's not cut an avocado before, just go through until you find that seed on the inside, and then I just use that seed as kind of a barrier, and then I roll the avocado along my knife and then twist it open. And on the inside, you've got your seed and your clean avocado. Take the knife, kind of stab down in there and twist it out. you can get rid of it. Our spoon that we use to mix our dry ingredients will pull all that flesh on the inside of the avocado just right out of the shell. We'll dice that up and add it into our wet ingredients. This one's got a little bit of bruising, so we're just going to clean that out. Again, no need to throw the whole thing away. Just kind of clean it up, get it out of there. You can use the rest of it. You don't have to cut this thing any specific way because it is getting blended. It's going to get mixed together, so it doesn't really matter. The smaller the chunks, the easier it is that it's going to incorporate with everything else. So we're just going to go through and strip it real quick, turn it and dice it, and that's ready to go straight into our mixture. Okay, so those are all ready to go. I'm going to wash my hands real quick because I was messing with raw eggs, and then we'll go ahead and mix it, blend it, incorporate it, and then add it to our dry ingredients. So we've got all of our wet ingredients together here. We've got our stick blender. We're just going to add that right in there. Want to make sure, stir it around, make sure there's no chunks in there because you want this to be completely pureed. It's going to mix in a whole lot easier with your dry ingredients if it is completely pureed. And it kind of looks like we're there. So just take our blender, sit it off the side here, we'll unplug it. Jennifer's got our pan going, so that's going to be good and hot for us.
As he was kind of pureeing up, it was kind of making me think, you have that banana, you have the avocado. He mentioned we are adding whole wheat flour here. We're adding a lot of components that add extra fiber to these to these pancakes, which is going to make you fuller than what you would typically find in normal pancake mixes. So that's something that instead of maybe a stack of pancakes of 3 of them or so, you might only need 1 or 2, just because it's giving you more of those nutrients that are going to keep you fuller for longer,
right,
which is going to be meaning you're eating less calories. And again, we're looking at that weight management standpoint from that. Not only that, fiber is heart healthy. Nice thing about it, we don't absorb it all, so on the way of being excreted out, it collects waste like cholesterol, helping to lower our cholesterol levels, helping with heart health.
Yeah. So I mentioned we put baking powder in here. We're using a double-acting baking powder, so it's going to have 2 rises in it. The first rise is going to be right here in this liquid mixture. Once it hits the liquid, that gas is going to start working. If you would let this sit here for about 5 minutes, you'd see all the bubbles start to rise. The batter itself would actually increase in size because of all the gas in there. And then it will happen again once we add it to our heat source. So really helps with the fluffiness of the pancake. If you don't want those flat, real thin ones, this is, that's a good way to help, increase the size.
And you do see those on the market. And what I like about it is some pancake recipes, they have you doing baking soda and baking powder together. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, some of those, especially like baking soda, it's full of salt. So by using some of these other components, you're reducing how much actually sodium you're putting into the final product.
Right. So we'll set this over here. So our batter's made, nice and smooth. A little green from the avocado. You can definitely smell the banana, which is always nice. We're gonna spray our pan. You can use a nonstick pan if you have them, but if you don't, spray real quick on the bottom. Make sure it's good and hot, and then we'll start making pancakes. How are we on there?
It's warming up nicely.
Okay.
One other thing I tend to use, I like to use a griddle, just because I can use a lot at one time.
Sure.
So that's something at the island, my kids are usually sitting there and I can have the griddle making these things. I talk to them about the process of the ingredients I'm using in these recipes I make, because like I mentioned, I've always done banana pancake recipes. I've done apples with it. I've done eggless pancakes. I've added wheat bran. I added flax seeds. I mean, you name it. I'm always trying to compact more nutrition in my pancakes. My kids love pancakes, so why not? So it's a great learning tool, and I can cook all at once. So instead of having a pan where I'm maybe not, engaging with them, I'm cooking them on the griddle, getting a lot done at one time because they're 2 and 4. They're impatient. They want something now. So it just makes a kind of nice, great atmosphere as family time to cook with.
Absolutely. I understand that impatient thing all too well. So, yeah.
I say both of us have young kids at home, so they usually want it now, and you got to be ready.
You're already late. Yes, absolutely. So we're warming up. Maybe a couple more minutes. We want to make sure that it is good and hot because we want this to start right away. And then, it's like cooking a regular pancake. You're going to see the gas bubbles. Yep. You'll see when it's cooked through on the bottom, they'll start to pop through the top. Great indicator. It's time to flip those pancakes and cook the other side. So,
one thing about pancakes, one thing I like to mention, a great serving size kind of method when you're making pancakes is use 1/4 of a cup, measuring cup for your pancake, because that makes about a 4-inch pancake. That is a serving size of a pancake. A 4-inch pancake, like I said, I work within the diabetes realm a lot with individuals who have diabetes. A 4-inch pancake across, 15 grams of carbohydrates. So if you're thinking, some of those larger pancakes you get at restaurants, they're like 6, 8 inches, you're looking at 30 grams of carbohydrates in one of those. So I tell my patients a great way to control the amount, use 1/4 of a cup for batter, and that will get you the size of pancake that would be considered a serving size.
Absolutely.
You can hear kind of the sizzle there as Dugan's putting that batter in there, telling us that we have a nice hot pan. Like he mentioned, we're going to cook until we start seeing the bubbles form on the top, and then we'll flip and cook on the other side.
If you're actually paying attention to it, if you're, just looking at your pancakes, got nothing else to do, you can see the baking powder is really starting to work here, and they start rising up just a little bit with the introduction of that heat, which is, really neat. It also gives the impression that you're getting more. Even though it's just air, it's to your eye, these things look big. I'm going to get fed. This is going to be great.
That's something great to kind of think about. That's kind of going into the mindful eating,
right,
and how your mind, by visualizing or seeing your foods and what you see, your mind is already making a process if you're going to be full or if you're going to still be hungry afterwards. We use that a lot of times in mentioning with my patients of using smaller plates of bowls to eat on. Because when you have a smaller plate and you feel it full, you think you have a lot more food, where if you have a larger plate and you put the same amount of food that you had on that smaller plate on the larger plate, half that plate is still visible, and you're automatically going to think, wow, I'm going to be hungry afterwards because there's still room on this plate. Your mind is already making that decision actually for you.
Absolutely. So we're starting to get a couple bubbles. We want to see a little bit more. There's only about 2 or 3 right now. You're going to really see some holes in there. That's when we know that it's going to be time to turn them.
Yep. So our last few pancakes are on the stovetop here, getting cooked through. We have several of them here. We'll give them a try. You can see they're nice and cooked. The batter that we prepared, you're going to get several pancakes out of it. 2 different things I like to do. I like to make what I have, cook that, and if I know I'm going to be making the pancakes the next day, I put the batter back in the fridge. Because I hate to make all the pancakes and then put them in the fridge and then warm them up later. Sometimes it's not as fresh, not as fluffy, not as good as taste. Or if I know I'm not going to be making pancakes the next day again, this is the only day I'm making them, I still want to use all that batter. So what I tend to do is I do make all the pancakes then. I put some in a freezer baggie, put them in the freezer, then I can take them out as I want.
Right.
One suggestion, don't put them in the microwave to warm them up. I put them in the toaster oven. That way I can get a little crispness there and crispness there.
Yes,
and it's not like soggy, and you're getting more of that maybe like toaster kind of waffle kind of feel actually to it.
Absolutely.
And it's something easy, you push it down, toaster, and then you can go on the go. It makes a great easy breakfast during the week. So that's some suggestions I have. Kind of utilize it all depending on how often you're using it or how quick you're going to be using that batter.
Sure. So just pull those off here. Okay.
And we'll give these a try too, since they are done here. I'll get one of the ones on the bottom here that are a little bit cooler. Give it a try.
Nice and airy on the inside. You can see little flecks of
The
green
avocado
in
in
there.
there. So what I like about it though is I really taste that banana and some of that vanilla extract. One thing I tend to add with my banana pancakes, I do add a little cinnamon in there sometimes, just to add some more flavor component, which is, I didn't know with the avocados if that would be a good profile together, but actually I think would be really good. You really don't taste the avocado. You're just getting those really healthy fats. Unless you have an extremely picky person I'm thinking kids for this, and they see the green in there, they won't know there's avocados in there unless they see the green. And I know there are some ones that are picky that will see the green and be like, I'm not going to eat, but most probably won't even notice it, and they will just have that banana feel to it, that taste to it, the vanilla, the sweetness of it, and they're going to love these. And great heart healthy, like I said, for not only breakfast, but any meal of the day.
Yeah, they really have I mean, it's a pancake. You just have the subtle banana flavor. You have that texture that you would get from a regular pancake. Using the whole grain flour, you're not using that all-purpose, just all white flour. So it's really healthy, but I mean, it's a pancake. Yeah.
And you're seeing us eat it without syrup, so it's even good without even adding syrup to it.
Absolutely.
Makes it a great on-the-go kind of breakfast for those busy mornings when you're up at 4:30 in the morning getting ready for work or something like that.
Certainly. All right.
All right, well, we'll get ready for our next smoothie recipe with avocados and clean this up. So we're going to move on to the next recipe with avocados, and we're going to be making an avocado smoothie. And it is probably one of the simplest smoothie recipes you're going to find. You're going to be taking 2 avocados, and you're seeing Dugan starting to cut this one avocado. We're going to take frozen mango, and then we're taking unsweetened almond coconut milk. That's it. That's all 3 there is. So the hardest part of this recipe is cutting these avocados.
Yeah, very, very simple. Just going to run through like we did in the last recipe. Make sure to get all the way to the seed so you can twist them and they open up, just like that. Okay, make sure your hands are dry. Twist it. That one's just cutting right through the seed. If you have issues like that, don't dig even deeper. Get a spoon, get a fork, get something. It's a whole lot safer to do this than it is to keep going with a sharp knife. So just get underneath there, and they'll pop out. Just keep going under the skin.
And the nice thing about this recipe, you don't have to worry about presentation because we're putting all this avocado in there, and we're going to blending it all up. So a lot of times with presentation, sometimes you don't like digging into the avocado because you want to keep it nice and neat. But for this, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it does not matter at all. So you're just going to get underneath there, and it'll slowly peel itself out.
Most often, avocado seeds
There we go. That one's a pain.
I say these avocado seeds are liking to stay today in these recipes. Typically, avocado seeds come right out. You won't have any issues, but better be safe than sorry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to cut themselves, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. And as you can see, Dugan's now just kind of taking the avocado, taking it away from the skin, getting the flesh out there, because that's what we're going to utilize into this recipe. So now that we have the avocados here out of the shell, he's just going to cut those up a little bit. It's easier to blend, but we're actually going to pour everything into the same container. So we have our unsweetened almond coconut milk. The nice thing about this is going to give that almond flavor, going to give a nice coconut sweetness flavor. The reason why I recommend unsweetened is because with the sweetened almond milk, sometimes they're adding extra sugar there to make it taste a little sweeter. We don't need that because you're going to get a lot of sweetness from not only the coconut, but also the mango. So we're going to add about 3 cups of this unsweetened almond coconut milk, about 3 cups of the frozen mango. One thing nice about having the frozen mango, it's already cubed up here, is you don't have to add ice to this then because it's already frozen. It's going to get that texture of the ice without adding the ice there, which then would possibly, as it melts, make it watery and not as appealing. So we're just going to use 3 cups of frozen mango.
Okay. Just add this straight in there.
And we're going to add our avocados, and then you're going to take, you can do this in a blender. We're using an immersion blender. If you have one of these at home, you can use that too. Any way to kind of just mix this up.
Okay. This is very simple.
Now this is mixed up. A serving like this will produce about 4 servings. A serving size is 2 cups. You're looking at approximately about 240, 250 calories, 32 grams or so of carbohydrates, 140 milligrams of sodium. Saturated fats, we're keeping those relatively low at 1 to 1.5. The rest of the fat intake, which there's a total fat, about 12, 13 grams of total fat in this per 2 cups. Again, only 1.5 is going to be your saturated fats. The rest are going to be those mono and polyunsaturated fats, those really good healthy fats, which is coming from the avocados. The nice thing about this could be like a meal. You might think, oh, that's not going to keep me full afterwards, but those 2 cups get you around anywhere from 8 to 10 grams of fiber. So that fiber is going to help keep you fuller for longer. So it kind of makes a great meal replacement if you want something quick and easy.
Sure.
So we'll pour this into some cups and give this avocado smoothie a try. So now that we have our smoothie here, we're going to give this a try. You can see it does have a little bit of a green color in there. The avocado color, the green color is going to be coming out of that mango. You're not going to get a lot of the color, but definitely simple here.
Very interesting. You know, first thing out of the gate, you get avocado, then you get mango, and then it goes back to avocado, and then you get that sweetness.
Yep.
But then the almond milk comes through at the end, and it's
It
really
does.
kind of like refreshing
Yes.
as it's going down. So definitely not something that I never would have, I probably never would have assumed this, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a really nice combination.
And I like it. And that's something that, like you said, I agree with everything Dugan just said. I like the fact of this because I feel like it's very popular right now when you're doing smoothies. I mean, smoothies have been around popular for years now. I feel like it's kind of faded away and it kind of comes back to being popular again. But the big thing is adding greens right now to it. Like adding kale or adding spinach or adding some type of green. Here we're adding a green in the avocado with the healthy fats, so it's kind of, you're getting that same aspect. We're just kind of increasing the profile of these smoothies, adding a little bit more healthy aspects to it, showing you can use avocados in many different ways. But just, yeah, very easy recipe, quick, easy, and something,
Absolutely.
again, you might not expect, but not too bad here. Thank you for watching us today on iHeart Cooking. We hope you enjoyed all these different recipes using avocados.
For more heart-healthy recipes like you've seen today, visit reidhealth.org/iHeartCooking.
We'll see you next month.